I want to start off this morning by sharing question that keeps coming to my mind a lot this week is, I don't know what you guys want from me. And I don't mean that in any kind of disparaging or insulting way. I mean that with the absolute most love, because we are in interesting times. To say the least. And I can stand up here and I can just, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. We could do that all day long.
Let's do it.
And we're not going to do that. We do a mixture of fact-based reality, acknowledging what is, and knowing in our spiritual hearts that the best healing medicine for that is to raise our vibration. And that's where we find a way to clap our hands. Right? So this is this is my job, to kind of have a foot in both worlds and to have my heart in it all, because I cannot stand up here for those of you that need to be nurtured and bypass that. I refuse to do that, because that's not how I operate for myself. I need to find my nurturing. And then I also need to be able to support those that are not in this moment needing that nurturing, and wanting people to join them in celebration. I don't know, I don't even really have words for all of this. I'm just sharing with you my heart. My authentic heart. So if you're in pain, if you're afraid, I'm here for you. I'm with you. And I will also hold that high watch with you. And celebrate in the places that need celebrating. To each and every day, find things to be grateful for. Look for things that bring light and joy into your life. We cannot function in the shadows. Oh, we can function there for a little bit, but it will eventually take us down. The healthy way, the longevity way, is to, again, acknowledge whatever it is you may be feeling, and then raise it up. Raise it up. You all know for years I have talked to you a little bit more in the beginning when I first got here, and about the heart math, the science of heart math. Kelly talked about it a few months ago when she spoke. I'm always taking you to your heart. There is fact-based science and proof and studies about the heart resonance. I took a refresher course a month or so ago, and I have permission to bring some of those slides to you. It's been such an important part of my journey to do that practice, as well as other practices. It's one of the tools in my tool belt. I remember one time, I probably have told you the story before, but I was counseling at that time. She was, I believe, 10. A 10-year-old girl. And we were sitting over in the office in the classroom / prayer room, and I led her in. There was a lot of anxiety going on in her life, and I led her in coherence, in finding that breathing through her heart. We were there for just a few seconds, and she started cracking up. She's so delightful anyway. I just love her so much. And she said, "Oh my gosh, it feels like my heart is tickling me." At 10 years old, she immediately got it. A practiced way of raising your vibration and finding coherence in the world, individually and collectively. So I will continue to move forward, doing the balancing act of how we are navigating our world. So as Zeno told you, I told her that Down by the River to Pray is just going over and over in my head. And I love that song anyway. It was introduced to me, as many of you probably, as from the movie, "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" Yes. Right? And that's such a great, now that's an uplifting movie, right? So great. But I kept thinking about that song, and it has so much to do with baptism. And in Unity, we don't do immersion baptism. It's just not, rituals are not a lot of our practice. You know, we've got our burning bowl / dissolving bowl, our releasing ceremonies, but we don't do communion, we don't do baptism. I also grew up that way because I grew up in the Friends Church, the Quakers. We don't do outward ritual and ceremony. It's an inside job. Nothing wrong with doing outside ceremony. I have participated in many amazing and wonderful outside ceremonies, and both are important. But I wanted to address, since we did that song, and even this morning as I was awaking, the words from that song that I kept hearing was, "Oh Lord, show me the way. Oh Lord, show me the way. What is mine to do?" So just a tiny bit of education from Unity's book, Charles Fillmore's book, The Revealing Word, which is kind of a dictionary of words, where the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary is people and places and things. The Revealing Word is words. Baptism, the spiritual cleansing of the mind. In Unity, we don't teach that you do it in order to be saved and to have your sins washed away, because we teach original blessing, and that you are not born wrong. You are born exactly who you were meant to be in all of your perfection. Original blessing. Charles Fillmore goes on in his explanation of baptism to talk about holy spiritual baptism. And as I was reading that, the words that kept going through my head was that transformative moment, that aha moment, when you go, "Oh, I get it. I've never looked at it that way before." Whatever that may be. And on a deeper level, when your spiritual heart awakens and you have that deeper understanding of your own divinity. And that leads me into the main part of my talk, Again, I am pulling information from the Seasons for Nonviolence, the Season for Nonviolence that was created by Arun Gandhi, the grandson of Gandhi in 1997, as a way to honor the memorial dates of his grandfather and Martin Luther King Jr. between January 30th and April 4th. And the words that came to me to talk about this week are capacity and care. Capacity and care. Nonviolence has to begin with yourself. And the more that you walk in that place of being in a nonviolent world with yourself, you create more peace in the greater world. Does that make sense? We have to love ourselves in order to love other people. Care and reverence. Care and reverence. From Gandhi. I don't even know where I am on here. I've got this. You can take a moment and read that. I feel the capacity to care is the thing which gives life its deepest significance. Pablo Casals. Here it is. This is what I want. From Gandhi. God alone knows the mind of a person, and the duty of a person of God is to act as they are directed by their inner voice. I ask no one to follow me. Everyone should follow their own inner voice. It is your journey. From your journey, we join into the collective, but it has to be your journey. Nobody has to do it the same way. I pray that we all do it in the same way that doesn't harm anyone. In ministerial school, when I was in seminary, one of the things that we used to say is, do no harm. We hear that in the medical profession. Do no harm. And I remember going through those 2 years of seminary with that in my head, looking at my own integrity, looking at my own authenticity, and every now and then going into judgment as I looked at my fellow classmates going, oh, dear Lord, do no harm. And I was very aware of that because I'm human and I would go into judgment, right? Come on, don't we all go there? Right? And watching the lives of these ministers as they have gone out into the world over these last almost 25 years of the amazing work that they have done in the world. Be in the world and do no harm. For many of us, the power of the divine comes as a still small voice, the voice of spirit. Gandhi says the still small voice is our own inner voice. Is this a contradiction? No, of course not. Our own inner voice, the voice of our intuition, the voice of love, is the voice of the divine speaking through us, as us, through us and as us. For each of us, that voice is different. If you are a member of a spiritual community of any kind, you know that every person, even in your own community, believes something different from everyone else. And yet we are all right and all wrong, depending on the moment and where we are. I would say that we are wrong because what do we know? We know what we know. But we don't know what we have yet to discover. So it's not that we're necessarily wrong. We just still have not seen what is next. And to allow, that's where that spiritual transformation comes from, is being open to a greater download from Spirit. We do that when we listen to and follow our own inner voice. The surest way to walk the path of nonviolence is to listen to our own inner voice, knowing that it is the path of nonviolence. One of the affirmative practices on care and reverence, caring for yourself, having reverence for your life, caring for others, and having reverence for all life. In the affirmative practice, I will meditate and listen for that still small voice within me. I will follow that inner guidance and know that each person does the same. This is the path of spiritual nonviolence. Let peace begin with you. And we all know that Gandhi quote, be the change that you wish to see in the world. So this week especially, it's been in the back of my mind, but this week it came forward to find my wheelhouse, to find my right place in this world of action, is to do what I know. And so on Tuesdays, and I'm going to begin at this Tuesday, and I'm sharing this with you and whoever happens to see this video. I'm not quite sure how it's all going to play out yet. But at 6:30 on Tuesday evening to meet here in the sanctuary and to build community, to call in spirit, and to just have an opportunity to safely talk about what is on your heart. I want to do it hybrid, be able to Zoom at the same time, and confidentiality is so important, so I'm not quite sure how all of that is going to happen yet. But to begin at 6:30, if any of you are interested, I'm asking that you let me know after the service. To come together and do the inner spiritual work. Call in spirit, have an opportunity to share, continue to connect with spirit, and create an environment of deep spiritual love, of high vibration, because that is what we know does the healing work. All of the action, all the feet on the ground and hands doing the work, and the voices speaking out is all very, very important. Very important. And there are those of us that can come together and hold the high pledge and keep the vibration high while also being real. When Diego and I were working this Thursday on the PowerPoint for today, Diego is our office assistant. We were talking about my talk, and he said, have you seen the daily word for Sunday yet? Power, our spiritual power. I have the power to choose my thoughts and direct my life. Now I understand true power comes from within. I take dominion over my thoughts and feelings. I live my truth in confidence, knowing my thoughts derive from divine ideas. And from 2 Timothy, for God did not give us a spirit of cowardice, but rather a spirit of power and of love and of self-discipline. So listen deeply to what your calling is, whatever that may be. What your God is calling you forward to do, and who your God is calling you forward to be. It's your journey. It's your path. It's your transformation. And so it is.